What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brennan. I'm BManX45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We're back with another in our How to Build series. This time we're going to be looking at Beelzemon. This is the other Demon Lord deck that we were going to take a look at. We did Beelzemon. We're going to be playing Lucemon, but like I said, we weren't going to do that one because we did the discussion video about is Lucemon good enough yet. So this was the other Demon Lord deck, the first Demon Lord deck I ever built, the first deck I took to a regionals or an ultimate cup. I think it was an ultimate cup, and I got top 128 on my first online ultimate cup, which was really cool. So I have a special place in my heart for Beelzemon. I love Beelzemon. I love Impmon, some of my favorite cards and characters from Digimon. So I'm really excited to be talking about this deck again because I love playing this deck and I really like the support we're getting in EX10. I think it's really awesome, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different things here. As you can see, there's a lot of cards to choose from. We will be doing another how to build. I have one more how to build that I want to do, but it's probably going to be taking place during EX10 release, so it's going to be after the release before we start doing our deck profiles, but that's just the way how things pan out. But let's get into it. Let's talk about this, and hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, we're looking at it here. There's a ton of cards for Beelzemon. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to get rid of the cards that I don't think are going to see play nowadays. There's just so many good Beelzemon cards. There's a lot of cards I don't think are going to see play. Starting with the Digi-Eggs here. Pagumon on deletion, trash the top two cards of your deck. It's not as good of a play style anymore, so I don't think it's going to see play because there's just a better way to trash cards than getting your things deleted. So Pagumon, I don't think is going to see play. I also don't think Yamon is going to see play. You have DP buffs in this deck, and a lot of the times you don't need them because your final guys are pretty big. So you have your DP buffs in this deck. I don't think it's necessary really anymore to have that 10 or more gets plus 2,000. So I don't think that Yamon's going to get played. That leaves us with one card. As well, let's go through the Digimon. An Impmon I don't think that's going to see play anymore is the BT2 Impmon. Again, on deletion strats are just not as important. Your space is really tight and you need the best cards you can, and this card just isn't fast enough anymore. It was a good strategy in the early days to basically just sacrifice this guy to check a security and then potentially start your mill engine. Your mill engine is so much faster. You don't need that Impmon. Another card I don't think is going to see play. Wizardmon is really your top end, especially with Wizardmon X-Antibody, so you're not going to be playing Witchmon, I don't think. We got to have two good Wizardmons now other than Wizardmon X-Antibody, and even though she trashes top 3 and has a plus 2,000 DP, I just don't think you're going to see her in the deck. Another card I don't think you're going to see is the BT10 Ballmon. BT10 Ballmon is when attacking, you may trash 3 cards. That is not necessarily that great when you have on De-Digivolve trash 3 cards, and then his on deletion is something that a lot of Ballmons have. So just the fact that, and he has no inheritable as well, he's just not as good. So I don't think BT10 is going to see play. I don't think Beelstarmon's going to see play. This is a Beelzemon deck. It was a cool strat to have her in there and potentially play an Impmon for rush and warp into the Beelzemon. But I just don't think she's as good as she used to be, and there's so many good Beelzemons, you just don't have the room for her. Another card I don't think is going to see any play anymore is the BT2, the original. If you have 10 or more in trash, you can Digivolve on an Impmon for cost 4. There's so many Beelzemons like that are better, so I don't think BT2 is going to see play. I also don't think BT10 is going to see play. He didn't really see play that much when he first came out. He's a crossheart. He's not a full 7 Demon Lords. He's just a Demon Lord. You may trash top 2 cards of your deck. Yeah, that's all right. For every 10, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. That's not that great, especially when you have other deletion effects that get better the more cards you have in your trash. And then to gain memory is interesting if you're going to play Blast Mode. But this is more of a Beelzemon deck and not so much a Blast Mode deck. So I think this guy's out. I would say this guy is out as well. He's just not as powerful as it needs to. A blocker Beelzemon doesn't do much for this deck. And he just deletes level 5s or lower, which are not, you have a lot of deletion in this deck. You don't necessarily need to delete, and he doesn't get anything when he's milled. So again, I think he's out. I think the OG blast mode is out. There's a better blast mode to be playing, and you have other cards that let you potentially gain multiple security checks. So, that's or trash cards, which are even better. So I definitely think he's not as necessary as he used to be. We have the new Beelzemon Ace. I don't think you need blast mode Ace as well. We'll leave him in the list just because he's kind of a choice card. Other than that, I would say the only other thing is the iMako from EX2. If you're not worrying about getting into blast mode, I don't think you need your Memory Tamer iMako. You're not going to play it. So that is all the cards. We've shortened up the list quite a bit, really, really fast. But let's get into all the cards I think you will play. And we'll start with the level 3, or we'll start with the egg, which is the ST14 one. When attacking, if it has Wizard or Demon Lord, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. This gets your mill engine working real fast. All you got to do is make one swing, and you potentially are milling a lot of cards depending on your inheritables. So I just think this is the best egg. This is the best Yamon. That's the one you're going to play. Going on to Impmons, I think that this Impmon BT19 will see play. It's got terrible retaliation. It's got on play. If you have one or fewer tamers, you may play one purple tamer with a play cost of 4 less from your trash without paying the cost. This is really good because you're going to trash your Makos a lot of the time. So being able to play them from the trash is really good, especially because you can play this off of EX2 Beelzemon for free, which is even better. Set up a tamer and potentially warp if you have the right Beelzemon. So, and with the new Beelzemon Ace, you have so much synergy in this deck on what you can do in terms of setup. So I think this guy's really good. You might not run a lot of it, but you're at least going to run one. Same with, you're probably going to run one of the BT6 guy, the on-play guy that lets you return a Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeers trait from your trash to hand. This guy's good because he gets you your Beelzemons back to hand, so if you need them in hand, so you have the one you need in hand. And you again, any of your guys are playable off of EX2's mill ability, so I do think that that's important. We have the new EX10 Impmon, which is when this card is trashed from the top of your deck, you may delete one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon. This is really cool because it deals with floodgates, and I think this card's going to see at least a couple copies in the deck. And also has starting your main phase trash too, so just moving it up from, it's good to play in the back and then move up because then you get its ability. So I think that this guy's going to be important to the deck. He also has probably 10 cards in your trash Digimon gains plus 1000 DP inheritable, which is really good. So it's giving you that DP inheritable and it stacks as it raises. We're also going to be playing one of the EX2 because he's limited to 1 because he's busted when this card is trashed from your deck. If it wasn't trashed by its own ability, which it can't be because now it's only at 1, you may trash up to 3 more cards from the top of your deck. On play, reveal the top 4, add 1 Digimon card Beelzemon, its name, and 1 iMako from among your hand. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Plus 3000 inheritable, super good. And you're going to play one of it because it's limited. You're also going to play at least a couple copies, 2 or 3 probably copies of the Warp Impmon, which is when attacking, if you have 20 more cards in your trash, this Digimon may Digivolve into Beelzemon from your trash for the Digitalization cost of 3, ignoring its Digitalization requirements. And you also have your turn once per turn when a card is trashed from your deck, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon. So that's inheritable, so that's all right. Especially because when attacking, you'll have a lot of inheritables that let you mill cards. So this guy's good in a couple copies because you can put him in the back, raise him up, and then attack Warp, which can help you end out a game. We also have Digimon X-Antibody. This card I think is still going to see play because it Digivolves for 0 on an Impmon, so it's free draws. Digivolves, has the ability to trash an option card in your hand that may be stuck, like Deathslinger or Rival's Barrage or 7th Full Cluster. If you don't have the iMako to put it on the top of your deck and then mill it. It's good to be able to trash these option cards that are bad in your hand, and then you can return one Digimon card with Evil Wizard or Demon Lord trait from your trash to your hand, so you get a piece back to your hand that you need, especially if you milled it, and then inheritable when attacking trash mill too. So that's really good as well. I think a combination you're not going to see really like 4 of. Level 3, we have so many good Impmons that you're going to see kind of like just a mismatch of Impmons, I feel. But I feel like you're probably going to see at least a couple copies of the new Impmon, the starter deck Warp 1, and at least a couple copies of X-Antibody, whereas I'm thinking you're going to see maybe like one of everything else. But that's all right. Getting into level 4s, we're going to skip this Wizardmon for now. We're going to go to the OG Wizardmon for this deck, which is the promo. When a card is trashed from your deck, gain a memory. So when he's milled, he is really good. He also has the when attacking inheritable, you may reveal 1 purple card from your hand and place it on the top of your deck. So that helps you mill stuff that you don't want in your hand. Really, really good. So I really like this Wizardmon. I think you're still going to play at least like 3 copies. I don't know about 4, but I definitely think you're going to play a couple copies of the new Wizardmon, which has a mill effect when this when the effect trash this card from the deck or security stack. So if it's trashed from the deck or security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus security attack +1 until their turn ends. And then on play, when Digivolving, trash your top security card. And then trash the top 2 cards of your deck, and all of your opponent's Digimon get minus 3000 DP for the turn. So, and that's a board-wide effect. All your opponent's Digimon get minus 3000 DP. That'll stay on the board. That's really good, especially if they have something like a level 4 in the back, or level 3 in the back. For the end of the turn, so it wouldn't really do anything into their next turn. But on play when Digivolving, but trashing the top security card, you can do that. And then Inheritable Barrier, which is really cool for Beelzemon deck to have Barrier. So it's kind of adding a bit of the security abilities to Beelzemon, which is kind of cool. Our first yellow-purple card in the deck. We also have Wizardmon X-Antibody, which when Digivolving trash 2 cards your deck, if Wizardmon or X-Antibody is in this Digimon's digital cards, they gain blocker for the turn until the end of your turn, and then when attacking, Inheritable, trash 2. This just again draws you more stuff, puts more trash when Digivolving trash abilities. If you don't get the other Wizardmons, and you don't care because he Digivolves for 2. That's pretty much it. So we're going to be like a combination between these 3. And we're probably going to, and then getting into our level 5s, it's going to be a combination of the 3 Ballmons. The new Ballmon, which I think is the one that people are going to be playing the most of, which is on play when Digivolving, trash 3, mill 3. Then if 5 or more cards is in your trash, this Digimon gains a reboot and blocker, which is really cool ability until your opponent's turn ends. On deletion, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play 1 Beelzemon from your trash without paying the cost. So if he dies, you just play a Beelzemon really easily, and you have all the tools to mill 10 really easily. I mean, he mills 3 on Digivolve. Your Wizardmon potentially mills 2. Your other Wizardmon potentially mills 2. And then you attack and you just mill even more. So it's super easy to get to the 10, which is really, really good. And then all turns, for every 10 cards in your trash, gets plus 1,000. So again, a nice little DP buff from both guys that grows as you get into the deck. Then there's the old Ballmon. I think you might play a copy or 2 of this one, which is he's when Digivolving, trash top 3, and then when Digivolving gains on deletion, if there's 10 more cards, you can play a Beelzemon from your trash without paying the cost until the opponent's turn ends. That's a on deletion one, so I mean it's good, but sometimes your opponent just waits you out and then you don't get to use it. And then it has plus 2,000 inheritable for Wizard or Demon Lord trait Digimon, which again is good. I think the new guy is definitely better, so I think you're going to max out on him and play at least a copy or 2 of this, as well as a copy or 2 maybe of the Ballmon X-Antibody, which has the ability when Digivolving to return an X-Antibody from your trash to your hand, and then also to trash top 3. And then if this Digimon has Ballmon or X-Antibody in its Digillusion cards, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon instead. So you don't necessarily want, if your opponent has a level 4, you don't necessarily want him to have in the stack. And then plus 2,000 inheritable again on a Demon Lord or a Wizard. So just really good synergy. Getting into the Beelzemons here, of course, we're going to play a couple copies or more, like 2 or 3 copies of the EX2, which is when this card is trashed from your deck. You may play an Impmon from your trash without paying its memory cost, which is really good. When Digivolving, when attacking, mill 2, and then delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon for every 10 cards. Add 1 to the level maximum. So this is where the level maximums go up. This is why this is a better card to run than say something that just deletes like a 4 or lower or 3 or lower, because he deletes a 3, but as soon as you get to 10, he's 4, 20, it's a 5, 30, it's a 6. And you have other cards like that. They're even better. Of course, we have the new Beelzemon Ace, which is a Blast Ace, hand counter, Digivolves for 4 on an Impmon. When you have 20 or more cards in trash, will Digivolve for 4 on a level 5, so he's the more expensive Digivolution. But he's got on play when Digivolving and when attacking. Trash the top 2 cards of your deck, then delete one of your opponent's play cost 6 or lower Digimon. For every 10 cards in your trash, add 3 to the play cost maximum. And then his other on play when Digivolving ability is if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, by returning 2 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash to the top of the deck, Digivolve 2, one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's really good, especially because you can use that first and then use this second ability to mill. And then the nice thing too is when you set cards up, you can set things up like Beelzemon. You can set Beelzemon EX2 on the top to summon out an Impmon to keep your plays going, and you can put something like a Wizardmon or a Deathslinger on the top so that you can gain memory and pass to your turn. So that can be really good as well. Keep your opponent from maintaining turn. So that's really, really great. And then, of course, he has Overflow 4, which is just the cost of doing business with an ace, unfortunately. But I think you're going to play at least a couple copies of this. I think another card you might play a copy of is the Beelzemon from EX6, because it has Rush. So like a Warp Impmon can go into him, and he has Rush. Especially if you have X-Antibody and then can attack and go into Beelzemon X-Antibody. It's really, really good. On play when Digivolving, trash top 4 cards of your deck. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, De-Digivolve to one of your opponent's Digimon, which is always really good. And then all turns when the Digimon leave the battle area other than Baya, place under the 7 Great Demon Lords. It's gated Deadly Sins, which we don't need to worry about because this is going to be pure Beelzemon. But it's just really good as the fact that it has Rush and De-Digivolve can potentially get rid of your opponent's thing that's stopping you from doing a play, and then you can warp into it and attack, and then go into, say, like Beelzemon X-Antibody, which Digivolves for 1 on a Beelzemon or 4 on a level 5. When Digivolving, this Digimon has Beelzemon or X-Antibody as Digivolution cards. Trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 10 cards in your trash. So this, like, that could finish out game on the Beelzemon Rush if you have the right cards. Say you have enough memory because of certain cards. You can go into you can put cards on top of your deck to gain memory. And with the Mako, Warp Digivolve, mill, and then enough memory to keep turn, and then play like the X-Antibody underneath and attack. And then you can, trash, late game, you can probably trash at least 2 or 3 cards and then attack for game. On deletion, we play 1 card with Impmon in its name from your trash without paying the cost. Again, another really good ability. So, definitely ways to sneak out the game in this thing. So I think definitely a copy of each of these. There is the Beelzemon Blast mode from BT19, which, blasts out Digivolution on a level 6 for 5, or Digivolve for 4. Well, we blast for free, but you can Digivolve on a level 6. I think it says level 6. But you can also, obviously, Beelzemon in name costs 4. When Digivolving on play, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. If you have 10 or more cards in your trash, delete one of their Digimon instead. So any Digimon. When attacking, once per turn, by returning 10 non-Digi cards from your trash to the top of your deck, trash your opponent's top security cards. So that's an interesting potential there too. and especially because you can put cards on top of your deck, especially cards that give you memory. It's not a bad way. It's got Overflow 5, which is gross. So there's that too. I think this Beelzemon Blast Mode, the SD14 one, is just better for closing out games because it's when this card's trashed from your deck. Delete one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon. For every 10 cards in your trash, add 1 to the maximum level this Digimon can choose with this effect. So if it's milled, it pops something. As well as when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. If you have 20 or more cards in your trash, gain 3 memory. So you can potentially, if I use this as another card to go for game, because if you've swung with your other guys, you can then go into him for potentially, for 4, but gain back 3 of that memory. So you only need 1 memory to not pass turn. So options there as well. Another card I think would be a good tech in this deck is Ruin Mode, because Ruin Mode is really, really good right now, especially with things like Omnimon and anything that needs low-level Digimon to Digivolve into high-level Digimon. Ruin Mode is gross, and just being able to just play this and stall your opponent out, basically stop them from playing the game, and then just basically win. Keep setting up is so good. So I think Ruin Mode's a seriously, potentially good card to have in this deck, just as a potential defense card. And then, of course, you're going to have, there's Bonds of True Love. This is an interesting card. I don't know if this is going to see much play, but it is an interesting card because it's what's trash from the deck. You may place it in the battle area, so you get its delay ability no matter what. Main, trash top, mill top 2 cards, and then place it in the battle area. Start of your turn, if you don't have a Digimon, delay, you may play 1 Imon from your trash, paying the cost, which is a good ability, especially you can play a Tamer off the 1 Imon or Search, or you got so many different things you can do. Play the Warp Digimon, but it's at the start of your turn, so you'd have to have the Rush Beelzemon to make it really, really good. And then, so it's an interesting card for 3 memory. I'm not sure if it's worth it. Then you have cards like Deathslinger. You're going to max out on Deathslingers because you want to gain memory from milling it. You might play Missed Memory Boost, or you might play something like Wisdom Training. Depends. I don't think you need Missed Memory Boost anymore because you have such good ways to mill. You don't necessarily need to mill. I think Wisdom Training is a better thing because it gets you pieces and reduces your mid-level Digivolution costs. Then you have Rivals Barrage. I think you're going to max out on Rivals Barrage because it's a security bomb just like Deathslinger, but also being able to add your purple cards back to your hand with it is really good, so you want to mill it. I think 7th Full Cluster will probably see 1 copy if you're going to play Beelzemon X-Antibody, because just having it's something you can throw away for certain abilities, and then just have it in there for if you do the Beelzemon X-Antibody play. That's a good card. And then you're probably going to play 1 copy of X-Antibody so that you can attack and Digivolve into X-Antibody, especially if you're playing Balmon X-Antibody. You want to be able to use that ability at least potentially once, because you're probably going to mill the X-Antibody a lot of the time, and so then you can it just gets you more pluses. And then lastly, the Imakos here. We have the BT19 Imako. Start your main phase if your opponent has a Digimon, gain a memory. If you have 20 more cards in your trash, by suspending this Tamer, one of your Impmon may Digivolve into Beelzemon in the hand for a cost of 4, ignoring the Digimon requirements. So the nice thing about this is it gains you memory. So with that, you only have to have 2 or 3 memory, depending on what other things you have. Same with the Imako from SD14, which is your searcher for the deck. You're going to probably max out on this, and please play a couple copies of this. This one's because when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a purple Digimon, by suspending, return 1 card from your hand to the top of the deck and gain a memory. So you can add cards to gain you memory. So between the 2 of these, you can guarantee that you can at least make 2 memory, potentially 3 if you put a card on top of your deck like Deathslinger. So you only need 2 memory or 2 or 3 memory to be able to, or 2 or 1 memory basically, depending on what the cards you have, to go into a Beelzemon and maintain turn from an Impmon with the Imako from BT19. So that's another possibility too. So looking at all this, these are the cards I think are the top contenders for the Beelzemon deck, combinations in some which way or form. Like I said, I probably don't think Missed Memory Boost is in there anymore, just because I think Wisdom Training is better, because you have so many good avenues of milling now that you can do 1 attack and potentially mill when you get up to your level 5, you could potentially mill, and then attack, you could potentially have milled 10 to 12 cards. So I do think that there's a lot more consistency to this deck now. I think that the new Ace card adds a lot of comboing, which is really important in this deck, and I do think that there's going to be some really cool deck builds for this, and I hope this deck does well, because I would love to take this to a tournament again. But let me know your guys' thoughts about all this. Did I miss anything? Is there anything I've forgotten about? Did you agree with the cards I removed from the potentially contention line? And what do you think about my opinions on all this stuff? Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day, and that's all for now, folks.